Welcome back to the Village Hall from Page to Stage with me, Mr. Matt Ogden, this man, Mr. Richard Sykes. And today, Rich, we are at Shelley Village Hall, aren't we? But we are joined by probably our number one fan, and she also happens to be in the cast of the Village Hall. Hello, Charlotte.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Our pleasure.
Oh, thank you.
Well, we had to do it here because, I mean, first of all, this is the start, as we're filming, of the summer holidays for the kids.
Indeed it is, and for me.
And for you.
Yep.
Yes, this is
Why,
true.
she's available.
So,
Yes.
straight enough, Charlotte's available for us now. But also, I mean, you've been a fixture of the Village Hall for a little while, would you say?
Oh, definitely. Probably for the last 10 years, I've been here hosting numerous children's parties for my two children, Phoebe and Freddie, and coming to events that my mum is involved with, because my mum Andrea is part of the over 60s here at Shelley. And so when you mentioned Village Halls, I just had to get HD8 on the map.
Oh, yes. Bring it
here.
on.
Yeah.
Quite right, too. I was born in HD8, so we're sticking up for it.
Adding to our collection.
Well, it's fantastic to welcome you here. I mean,
Thank you.
I mean, my knowledge of the hall isn't extensive, but I do know that there's some history going back to the 19th century.
Ooh.
It started out, one of the earliest parts of the hall is over that side, and it started out as a very small building because Shelley was quite small at the time. It was sort of adjunct of Kirkburton, which is just down the road, but there's this incredibly large church down there, and so that sort of subsumed the whole area. This was pretty much a forgotten part of it. And then, in sort of the mid-19th century, they started adding, because Shelley was growing. And Shelley got its own church. There's a Methodist church down the bottom, a few other parts of it. But we've seen that in every single village hall we've been to.
Yeah, there's always an extension.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were at Milnes Bridge, that literally, like, pretty much entirely changed the exterior, didn't it?
Yeah.
It went from wood to a kind of highly durable plastic.
And then there was another aspect to that when they started having wheelchair access brought in, and that's in the last 20 years.
Exactly,
and they've all had to adapt to that. And the changing times have shown how village halls have adapted.
Indeed.
And it's great when you compare it to places like Chile, because you can see that having an effect, and the growth of the village hall having an impact, and why the farce works, because there's class over class overlapping every single time. So it's hugely relevant as to why we're doing it.
On that topic, I think this is a good opportunity to mention what happened when we got here today at Shelley Village Hall. It just so happened that a class was about to start, wasn't it?
It was.
And so essentially we saw them coming in, and we spoke to Lucy very briefly, who's running the class, and that class is essentially, it's an exercise class.
Chairobics.
A chairobics class for the over 60s kinds of group as well, wasn't it?
It was.
So we actually had a little chat with Lucy. Should we cut away to that little
Go
chat
to
with Lucy
it.
and find out about it? Okay, here's to me and Lucy. So, Lucy, tell us what the class is and why it's run by you, basically.
Okay, yeah. So my name's Lucy. I'm a performing arts teacher and a trained dancer, and I started the class as part of the National Ballet's Dance for Parkinson's initiative. But it's kind of evolved over the years for not just people who find themselves with Parkinson's, but for people that have got maybe a little bit of restricted movement due to an illness or an injury, or it kind of bridges that gap between no exercise at all and a mainstream gym, which some of us don't have access to. So it kind of bridges that gap there. And we meet every Monday morning. It's a nice way to start the week. And we move and we dance and we have a right good chuckle at the same time.
That's awesome. So what's your background in the Village Hall then? Are you part of the committee, or are you kind of someone who's come in and facilitates this class externally?
Yeah, no, I live locally, so we live in the next village on. And I have a little bit of a passion for the community and doing things like this for the community, for the younger people and for the older people as well, and everybody in between. So it's lovely to live locally, be part of the community, and be able to run something like this as well.
So you mentioned about supporting young people. Do you do another class here at the Village Hall as well?
I don't, but I know that there's a baby ballet class that's on a morning. There's a baby ballet class everywhere. And then you've got like the brownies and the scouts and everything else as well. So I just think it's just such a lovely facility that caters for the very youngest to the very oldest.
And that's the whole point, right? That's exactly what a village hall is for. All right, enjoy your class. You won't take it any more time.
Thanks so much.
See you later. And come to the village hall.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thanks.
Back to us. And so that leads us nicely into talking about Ian, who's your contact at the village hall, isn't he?
I think Ian is everybody's contact at the village hall.
Yes.
Ian's spectacular. Now, I've been doing a few gigs here ever since my dad wasn't able to.
Right.
He passed on a few of his bookings to me, the regulars who he didn't want to let down. And he said, will you do it? And I said, yeah, of course I will. So I've been doing that ever since. So again, the over 60s group that we mentioned has been having Christmas lunches here in mid-December. And I've done them every year, and it's always an absolute joy to do them. And Ian is the one on the microphone holding everything together. He's an essential part of every single village hall we visited, you know. But Ian, for Shelley Village Hall, is right here. In fact, he's not just here; he's down there.
He's there, isn't
He's
he? He's
literally
hiding behind
over
that
the
wall.
wall at the moment, and he's doing some gardening on a strip of land which came with the village hall, but is only just being redeveloped thanks to Ian. He's doing some gardening down there now to add buddleias and flower pots and things like that, and lots of little eccentricities like overflowing wheelbarrows and pairs of gardener's legs and things like that. It's extraordinary to watch.
Ian Dyson is Mr. Shelley.
Yeah.
Anyone that lives in this area in HGA and you're involved in Shelley Village Hall knows of Ian. My mum can't speak any more highly of him. He just gives so much of his time for the greater good of all the community.
Right.
And the amount of groups that go on in Shelley Village Hall is vast, from the younger end, the brownies, right through to like the over 60 events that we've been talking about. It's hive of activity, and Ian really is an absolute blessing to the community.
He's superb.
Yeah.
However, Ian didn't want to be featured on the podcast, so we just had to do his write-up without him here. Hang on.
But you can hear him.
Yes.
Just behind that wall.
Yes, he's
It's
chipping
somewhere.
away.
Yeah.
Speaking of behind that wall, can we just give a shout out to that view?
Amazing,
I mean,
isn't it?
what village hall have we been to that's had that on
Yeah.
its literally on its doorstep?
Well, I mean, we're blessed in Huddersfield. There are so many beautiful views, but Shelley's got
It's
this
all the hills,
lovely...
isn't
It is. It's got this beautiful elevator position in Shelley. So the village hall is just behind us. We're sat located in the car park on this glorious day. Yesterday was horrendous. It rained the whole day, but today it's turned up
Glorious
trumps
sunshine.
for the sunshine presence that is Charlotte.
Oh,
Charlotte
Richard.
Benson here. She's
Oh, stop it.
certainly
Thank
not.
you.
It's part of my introduction to you.
Oh, thank you.
Because one thing, I want to take this back a little bit because we had a few people. In fact, the most tried for part in the village hall was Joan Black. Joan has this sort of acid tongue, but she's got to be really lovable. And I mean, we on the audition day, we'd seen this audition piece so many times, and to be honest, there were so many that could do it, but there was really only one person who owned it.
Yeah.
And she's here.
She sat in between.
Yeah,
them.
she walked in and she did this audition, which was, I mean, you came dressed in a tabard
I
because she's
did.
a dinner lady, didn't
She's
you?
brought it with her as well.
Yes, I did. I was so keen to be involved, and I knew from the launch night there was a lot of interest.
Yeah.
So I thought, how can I make my mark and be remembered? And I knew that I was about 3 auditions from the end.
Yes.
So I'd been planning it for some time. The previous Sunday I'd just run the London Marathon, and as I was running the 26.2 miles of London, I was revising my lines and going over the I'm Doing Fine song. So I came in and I just gave it my all. It was quite intimidating with 9 of you that sat on that panel, the largest audition I've ever performed in front of panel before, and delighted to have been chosen, Richard. Absolutely.
9 was far too much. I mean, we couldn't pare it down anymore because there were people involved. Myself and Maria were there from the editing and script writing facility. We also had people from Lawrence Batley there. Again, we pared that down to 2. And then we had people from the society who had to be there, and also we had to have the choreographer, we had to have the musical director, and you had to have the director. So essentially, I mean, we were all mates, and I hope it didn't intimidate you too much.
No, I think I was madly starstruck in some respects because I've been to so many of the Woodhouse musicals, and I've adored By George. As you know, I'm probably the biggest fan, and I'm definitely the greatest understudy. If you do it again, having watched it multiple times.
She said that before.
On your YouTube channel. So I think there was an element of, crikey, I'm here in front of these people who I've look up to and respect greatly in the musical theatre world. But yeah, I just gave it my all, Richard, and I'm really delighted.
Didn't you just?
So Joan is here.
Yes, she is. It was
She's
a
even got her own
powerhouse
props
audition.
already sorted. Joan's Yorkshire tea. Bloody hell.
Oh well, I mean, you've owned the part really, which is great. But also, you're opposite a rather splendid lady called Louisa.
Absolutely love her. You couldn't have paired me with anybody better. She's been phenomenal. Louisa's done a lot more musical theatre productions in Huddersfield lately than I have. I've only been on Lawrence Batley once or twice, and that's about 16 years ago. So I feel like Louisa's been a great sort of support to me, like in the audition, in the rehearsals, talking through like how things happen, guiding me with things, because she's so well versed in it, and we have such a laugh together. I absolutely love her. So I feel that we're going to be a phenomenal team when we hit Chile.
So tell us a little bit about your background and your history then, because you mentioned that it's going to be the first time you've been on the LBT for 16 years.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a lot of different kind of skills and experiences in the cast, aren't there? There's younger actors, there's older actors, there's people who have done professional work, there's people who've never done professional work. There's a real range of people behind the characters. So what's your background then? What's your theatre background, but also what's your non-theatre background?
So I've always wanted to be a bit of a performer from the early days of being in the back garden down in Lepton, putting on productions and playing Del Shannon on my cassette tape with my sister Rachel and my neighbours. And then I suppose enjoyed theatre during school and was cast in certain school plays. And then my parents got me involved with Kipak up at Marsh Mills back in the days with lovely Michelle Sutcliffe, who I know is coming to see our production. So hi to Michelle.
Just to say, Kipak was Kirklees Youth Performing Arts Company.
Yeah,
of course.
Which is where I first met Neil, actually, in a production of The Wiz. He was the Tin Man on roller boots. So it was, blast from the past to see Neil again.
That's Neil, our director.
That's the director, sorry. And then just got involved in productions at Greenhead College. I was in Greece there, and then Leeds University. I took on the role of being like a producer for a couple of the shows in the Stage Musical Society, and just had a great time. And beyond uni, only then did one production with the former Huddersfield Amateur Operatic Society, which is now Huddersfield Musical Theatre. I did Thoroughly Modern Millie with them, which is about 16 years ago. And I've had a massive gap because I've had two children, and I've sort of been forging my way forward with my career as an assistant head, putting on school productions. So like to celebrate Eid, I've just written the 30 Days of Ramadan and done that with my pupils, and they're sort of like, I've taken my theatrical skills into the workplace, and I love assemblies as well. And then thought, I'm just going to have to get back into the theatre. So I joined Honley Players. I've done a couple of their pantomimes and a murder mystery evening. And then I just thought, I yearned to get back on LBT. I just want to get back in. And having watched By George and knowing Richard was doing this show, I was like, could I do it? Could I go for it? Believe in yourself. So I did, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
And you put 100% effort into that audition, as we just discussed.
It's an absolute dream come true. Like, I never believed I'd get it. I just wanted to be involved.
But why did you audition for Joan?
Well, I think having been a teacher for 20 years now, within Kirklees, I've come across many a dinner lady. So when I read the character descriptions, I thought, I know Joan. I'm sure lots of people know a character like Joan. And I just felt like I loved how she was going to have some comedic one-liners. She sort of was like fierce. She doesn't mince her words. But she's got a really warm heart. She does really care for the villagers of Chile. She really does care for Jenny. She has a few, choice words with Jenny over her weight in this script.
Oh, but that
I think
shows
it's
she
because
cares.
I think it's because they're like sisters almost.
Yeah, it's banter.
So I just thought, that I feel like I believe in the part. I believe I could deliver those lines in the way I hope that they've been written and that yourself and Maria want them to be delivered. And so, it just seemed like the right part to go for. But yeah, like I say, it's an absolute dream come true, because within the show, you also have a section that's a pantomime.
Yeah.
And my absolute dream is to be the wicked villain.
Which is why you've won.
Strangely,
And
you are.
strangely, Joan is actually, you know, the wicked stepmother, isn't she,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a section? So it's just, yeah, it's a dream come true, really. So, yeah. I think initially I was a little bit nervous because within the rehearsal room, there are people I've looked up to and admired for many a year in the shows I've been to watch. So I just sort of couldn't believe I was involved and I was there. So I was quite nervous at first, and I was coming home thinking, gosh, like, what's this going to be like? How's it going to pan out? Because I just was probably quieter initially, and then everyone's been so warm and welcoming and guiding you through how things work. I feel Neil is a fabulous director in the way he works with you. He's very enthusiastic, offering feedback, and I suppose as a teacher I'm used to doing that to my learners. I feel he's very warm and friendly in his approach, and it's quite fast paced as well. Like some nights we've achieved a lot in a short space of time, but yeah, it's going great. And to have like Louisa there to sort of, you know, lean on, and Becky was really great in those first few singing rehearsals when I'm trying to, you know, get used to 4-part harmonies, not used to those. So yeah, it's just been a really great experience. Everyone's like a big family. Like you said, Richard, it's a real sort of welcoming group of people, like a team approach, like a big Woodhouse hug. I feel like it's been great to be part of.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's been really kind.
I've known that for 30 years, you know, how good this society is.
Yeah.
I went away in the interim and I went to do cruising and then came back, and I found it exactly the same as when I left it, in that...
Even when the people have shifted
Oh,
around
absolutely.
and changed, it's still got
because
that
the
same
dynamic
vibe,
is still the same. The overriding thing about Woodhouse is they want to put on the best show they can with what they've got. And genuinely, that they've done it every time. I've never been disappointed by Woodhouse. They just seem to throw all the resources they can, and there's so much energy in there to try and give the best thing they can. And they cast some incredible people. Yeah. Really incredible.
I think that's the thing with this show as well, right? Is that because of the... It was the same with By George, for example. Like because of the way that the plot is kind of written, the types of characters that obviously that Rich has created, they aren't the stereotypical musical theatre characters where they're kind of perfect 20-somethings who are all incredibly like in shape, and they're all absolutely fantastic at everything, singing and dancing and everything like that. They are real people.
It's real life.
And that's the thing with By George and now with the Village Hall, is that you're seeing characters who, the way that you've written them especially, you know, they can be played by a multitude of actors. They can be played by actors who are in their 20s and 30s, all the way up to actors who are in their 60s and 70s. And it gives the performers the ability to kind of really showcase what they can do within a role that's very, very like broad as a scope. Yeah. And with your part, for example, the fact that you get to be this kind of, you know, knit and natter kind of dinner lady style character, you've clearly, like, you've given her a bit of background research and a bit of a kind of subtext because of the way that you've approached it through your own experience as a teacher, right? Yeah. So she's a dinner lady outside of the Village Hall. That's what you kind of decided.
Yes, I often go into the dining hall at school at the moment, where I work, Headfield Junior School, and I just stand at the side, and there's one particular lady who I'm basing Joan on.
Are you going to name her?
Well, it's you, Tony, but I think you know that I did mention I'm doing a production at Lawrence Batley, and I'll sometimes stand there and I think people think I'm just doing extra duties, but I'm actually monitoring her mannerisms, how she's interacting with the children, how she's overseeing everything, and definitely bringing that then back into the rehearsal rooms. And yeah, she's great, is Tony. So there you go, Tony. If you watch this, it's based on you, love.
That's amazing.
The point that Matt's also making, that these aren't quite the traditional roles you see in musicals.
No.
I also feature, I don't know why, powerhouse women. I think it's been a part of my upbringing that I like to feature the dynamism of northern women.
Yeah, you definitely.
It's wonderful to see, and it's great to feature it in musicals because the majority of the characters in this musical are women. You've seen this morning. from Lucy's class.
There wasn't a man in sight.
There's
Apart
not a
from
man
me.
in sight.
No,
There was
just
no.
you.
You'd gone away.
I
so,
know.
yeah.
There
There was only me, wasn't there?
There was. I'm amazed you got out of there alive, sir.
I thought you were going to join in, Matt. You know, the chairobics.
To be honest, if we didn't have a podcast to film, I probably would do.
Yeah.
You in your shorts.
Yeah, I'm already ready, aren't I? Ready to go.
But women are the driving force,
Yeah.
and they are inside these musicals as well.
And they're very much at the heart of the committee in Chile.
Yeah, Joan and Jenny.
Yeah.
Louisa was telling me at a social occasion that we attended over the weekend
We did,
together.
indeed.
Louisa was saying that she hadn't realised how essential she was to the musical because you guys are never off that stage.
No.
The
I know.
leads go and come back.
yeah.
Jenny and Joan are there throughout.
They need to be there to
Oh, yeah.
absorb what's going on. Because
Absolutely.
that's how they get their information.
Yeah,
It's
we
where they
don't
get the
we
gossip.
don't miss a rehearsal.
No.
We're there like Monday, Thursday, and Sunday for a minimum of 8 hours.
Yes.
So we really are. I must admit, I didn't realise how
How
much
big
I'd
of
be
a part.
featured
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how much I'd be needed even in the background. You know, with pulling a few of my faces and making a few sly nudges to Jenny. So yeah, it's just brilliant.
That's the thing though, isn't it? When you first look at, and this is why when Rich asked why did you choose to go for
Yeah,
Joan,
yeah.
I was intrigued because when you first read a script, especially when you've never seen it before, or there's no. We talked about this a lot last year, but not last year. I keep saying last year. Last
With the
season.
last
show.
On
season.
by George, from Page to Stage. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it or listen
It's
to it.
great.
We mentioned a lot that obviously last time there was no frame of reference.
Yeah,
no one could
indeed.
go on YouTube and watch a slime tutorial. Shout out to slime tutorials
Yeah.
of By George, the
Yeah.
Chip Shop musical, and it's the same with the Village Hall.
Yeah.
So, like Rich has just said, when you're choosing the character you're going to go for, you've only got the script to go off, or
Yeah.
what you've seen of the script, and that doesn't show you the full dynamics of the character
No.
because you're not seeing the bits that they're present for,
Yep.
and they're reacting, doing
Yep.
the most important bit of acting, which is watching what other people are doing
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
finding a way to express that character's emotions and thought processes through what they're saying.
And also the
And it's really
necessity of
exciting,
that
isn't it?
role, because there's a scene
Yeah.
where Jenny and I come back on mopping up the floor after a very wet yoga class has happened, and we're just mopping up the floor, but it sort of creates an atmosphere within the piece. And I didn't know we'd be doing that, but yet we're back on again, picking up towels and sort of titivating, not saying anything, but just building that atmosphere within the Village Hall. So
you're the props ladies.
yeah. Thanks, Matt. Come on, don't play it down, love.
Who needs a stage crew when you got Joan and Jenny? eh?
Exactly, the double act. So yeah, it's gonna be great. And she, Louisa, is just been great to work alongside, and will sometimes say, "Oh, Charlotte, come on, hurry up," because I'm often on the wrong page. Like this enormous script you've produced, Richard. I'm like, "Where are we? So without Louisa by my side, I'm often sort of like.
Is that because you're getting lost in Joan, though?
Yeah,
Is it 'cause
just
you're getting
possibly,
lost in
yeah.
the character and just
And I'm
thinking,
like, where are we?
What would Joan do next?
What would Joan do? Yeah, yeah.
The other thing is the script, because it's a farce, is quite prescriptive. So there's an awful lot of stage directions which happen all at once.
Yeah.
So you'll find there are 2 lines on one page and a mountain of stage directions. And by the time you've read the lines, you're over on the next page. It's a very dense script in that way.
Yeah.
How are you finding the rehearsals? Are you coping?
I think so, yeah. I think more so with the acting ones. I found probably the musical ones more of a challenge. Because in the like the Honley Players, if we do songs, we just sing the song.
Yeah.
With Woodhouse, you've done like a 4-part harmony. That's probably been the biggest challenge to me, looking at the musical score. But Kira, again, it's been amazing, our musical director, sort of guiding me to what I should be following. And she's been very good to me because she knows I'm probably more of an alto singer, so not to sort of push me too high into the soprano range, which isn't really me. But I think the acting, because... Yeah, I think it's sort of come quite naturally, the role, and like I say, with the people around me and Neil's vision and the way he's directing us all, he's made me just feel very comfortable. So yeah, it's a big plug to anyone that wants to be involved with Woodhouse Musical Theatre Company. They're a great one to be involved in. But yeah, the singing is coming along nicely, but that was probably my biggest challenge, really.
Oh, you're seeing a development as you go through?
Yes, yeah, and I suppose when you ask about the parts, I knew that Joan wasn't a lead, and some of the leads did have solo songs.
Yeah.
So I suppose I do sing some solos, but within a bigger musical number. So maybe that also appealed, not to sort of go at this point in my musical theatre, life, to go for something where I'd be that a solo artist. I sort of like singing the bits in that I am. But no, it's great, and just enjoying it all.
Good.
Yep.
I'm thrilled to say that the rehearsals people haven't stopped laughing at these rehearsals. I mean, the
I mean, that's a
choreography
great
ones
sign.
are slightly
Yeah.
more pedestrian, so there's a
Yeah.
little less in terms of laughter there because people are concentrating on the moves. But in the dialogue rehearsals,
Yeah.
I mean, people are just still falling about.
We said this as well. Another plug to that by George from Page to Stage podcast is that we said about the fact that if you are at the point where you've done a scene about 3 or 4 times and the laughs start to die, that's when you're potentially in trouble, right? Because you can effectively get a bit too comfortable with it, and you deliver it in the same way over and over again, and then you kind of take for granted the humour that needs to come out.
Do you mind if I disagree? I think it's an inevitable part of every comedy production, especially when you're having to do it at length. Usually comedy rehearsals, I mean, you're doing a play and you rehearse for 3 weeks and then you put the play on. You don't rehearse for 3 months. That's insane. The reason this has to happen is because it's a musical, and the musical bits slow the whole process down. When you're rehearsing comedy, what effectively happens is that you rehearse it with the timing and the laughs come during the rehearsals, but then the laughs die.
They die away
They
'cause you
have to. You
concentrate.
can't find the same thing funny for 20 times. It just doesn't work like that. So as long as you remember the timing, I think you're fine. And then you get this adrenaline shot
When you do it in front of the
people
audience,
start
yeah,
watching. Not just the audience, but when the props people start to come in
Yes,
and see
yes.
what's happening. And when the dressers start to come in and watch it and they laugh. It's a real shot in the arm for the show.
It's the props as well that, you know, Joan and Jenny have to knit. And so having, when you put your book down, having the chance to actually be working with your prop and reacting, holding it. There's a lot of times that I've got a toilet brush in one of the scenes, or I've got a cane that I'm dancing with. And there's so many different elements that have been added into the script. It's really exciting. And big shout out there to Pauline Clegg, who's taught me how to knit.
Yes. What are your most memorable lines in it, do you think? Have you got anything that
gosh,
that really
she's got-
that sums up the character, or one you've really enjoyed?
Spoiler free, of course.
Oh,
yeah, gotta be
gosh,
careful
I've got to
now.
be careful.
Because you're on every bloody scene.
Yeah,
So.
there's something stuck in the light. A mass of something stuck in the light, which is a key line to me, and several lines to do with like hot bottoms.
Oh, yes.
And tea urns. Yeah, just
They ring true, don't they?
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, the script is phenomenal. I couldn't thank you enough for my part. Like,
Thank you.
there's some real funny lines, but I don't want to sort of say them specifically and spoil anything.
Sure.
But yeah, get your tickets now because it's going to be great if you're watching. There's going to be like a QR code over
There's
me.
going to be a QR code of it.
Shall we
Should
do that now? Let's put it on now.
She's kind of teased
as you
it a bit
teed it
too
up.
much now, yeah.
Yes, folks, if you want tickets for the Village Hall, all you need to do is scan Joan. Do it now,
Scan
yes.
Joan.
You can
Yeah,
scan
here's
the
this
QR
QR
code
code.
that's over there, and that'll take you directly to the website, the lbt.org, and there you can buy your tickets for the Village Hall. But don't worry, you can do other things as well, because there's so much going on around this show. You
is
can
indeed.
take a look at my website, which is richsykes.com, and there you'll find out not only about this show, but also about the future productions of By George that are happening soon, and the forthcoming musical, which is in progress of writing.
You can also follow us on the Instagram, that's at the Village Hall Musical. We're going to be putting on quite a lot more content soon. I've been a busy boy, what with work and whatnot, so apologies for those who have been subscribing to that. There's a lot more to come. And yeah, what that leads me on to quite nicely, we've been starting to ask everybody towards the end of each podcast what their favourite song from the show is.
Doesn't have to be yours, it
Doesn't
could
have
be
to be
any
yours,
of
it
them.
could be anyone's
Oh,
song.
that's
What's
so
your favourite?
difficult. I absolutely love so many of them because I just play them regularly at home on my laptop. I suppose it will be I'm Doing Fine because that was the audition piece. Although I'm not singing those 2 verses, that's
No.
the wonderful Nikki Cooney and Naomi
Yes.
Armitage are singing those 2. That has to be my favourite. I'm Doing Fine. You know, my muffin top is showing. And I finally twigged, but I'm doing fine.
I'm going to take a guess that you watched the episode where Rich broke down in detail how that song worked and why.
I watch Richard's podcast regularly.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I think I went into too much detail on that occasion.
I felt like I'd written the song with you, to be honest.
I think you're probably an inspiration for most of it.
It was great yesterday because the rehearsal, I got to hear one of our leads, Paige, who's
Yes.
playing Helen, Gorsuch do her solo number. And as we arrived at HD1, myself and my children were slightly late, so we were bringing the hockey sticks, and we could hear her singing, like lighting up, like all of that area of Huddersfield. Me and my children, we could hear the beautiful music coming out of the green door. Is it We Are Together?
Wherever I Hear Music is the
that
song
one.
that
Wherever
she's
I
doing.
Hear Music,
Yeah.
and it was just phenomenal. And when I got up there, just like I was walking up those stone stairs with Phoebe and Freddie, and it was just like, what a moment! And I just saw her singing it live, and it was phenomenal. So that would have to be my second choice.
Paige has a wonderful presence.
Yeah.
Her voice is to me utterly exceptional.
It is.
And she's got
It
a
is.
great range, and that is a powerhouse number.
Yeah.
It's one she was terrified of
Ooh,
because
she's
she
good.
sings an awful lot in it. It's very wordy,
Yeah.
and it's one of those. It's unfortunately a typical song from my writing perspective, whereby if you get one syllable wrong, it throws out the whole line, and that throws out 3 rhymes. So.
Yeah.
Very, very tough for her
can't
to
get
do.
it wrong,
Yeah.
So she's nailing it.
She's done something
nailing
like
it.
that before, though, as we talked about on the episode where she joined us when I went to the wrong Village Hall.
Yeah.
She actually played Enid Hoops in the production of Legally Blonde that we did, and that has got the same kind of thing. Whereas it's very, very fast, and if you miss that first word,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
screwed. You're bollocks for the whole thing.
Lyric
Yeah.
spitting. It's
You
a
love
real
a bit of
talent.
lyric spitting, don't you,
I
Richard?
do. It's essential
Yeah.
for comedy numbers.
Especially when it's up
Yeah.
there, really high up,
Yeah.
sopranos and super tenors.
I don't know what you mean. My male parts are usually very high.
Your male parts.
I don't want to delve into the male parts, Matt. We've done that far too much.
He
in
loves
this
delving
podcast.
into the male parts,
yes.
does
I
Richard?
know what you mean.
Yeah.
Shocking.
You need to be a eunuch to sing your song.
To be honest, it helps to arrange them as well.
What did it for me was that my daughter Phoebe does do the Honley Players productions with me, but my son doesn't. And my son was the one that said, "Mum, gosh, she can sing." So I was like, "Yep, I'll let her know that. Yep, well done, Paige." So it was.
She's
brilliant.
not the only one. Some incredible singers.
absolutely.
However, I've got bad news this week in that we've had a dropout this week.
No.
Yeah,
Oh, bloody hell,
unfortunately.
he's absolutely left
I
that.
know. I'm going to whip this out from under you. Sadly,
it.
one of our chorus, Sonia, has had to drop out.
Oh.
Now, Sonia Noble has been a friend for a long, long time, and we're very, very sad to see her go. It's an injury. She's got an injury, and she won't be able to do the show, unfortunately. Now, it's great to have that at this time because it gives us plenty of time to redo things. But I'm just really sick that she's
Yeah.
had to pull out because I know how much she wants to do the show. It's a shame.
it's
But
a
hey ho,
shame.
no, I mean these things happen,
Yeah.
and especially when it's such a long rehearsal
yeah.
period,
Oh, yeah.
you do get a few people that
Yeah.
that flick away either side. So it's sad, but farewell, Sonia. It's been wonderful, and we hope you come and see the show and
Make sure you
enjoy
buy a
it.
ticket.
Oh yeah. Oh now we've sold another ticket.
Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't
It's
it?
another seat on a bottom.
Aye.
Or all the way round.
Well, our ladies, don't know if you can hear there's some slamming of car doors happening, but it's because they are leaving their exercise class, which means our time's nearly up here as well.
is
So
indeed.
thank you very much for joining us
You're
today,
welcome.
Charlotte.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful.
It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Excellent. It's perfect to do our podcast outside in
Totally.
the sunshine with our number one fan. Excellent. Right. So until next time, it's been absolutely fantastic chatting to you, Charlotte.
Thank you. You
It's
too.
always a pleasure, Mr. Richard
Thank you,
Sykes.
sir.
Even when you surprise us with a last-minute cast change that we didn't know anything about. Fantastic. What drama. And you can only get that drama right here on the Village Hall from Page to Stage. So until next time, thank you very much and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.